Outside this winter in communities across BC is a struggle for survival. People living in tent encampments say it's a choice they must make.
Why do I live here? Just because it's so hard to find housing in Abbotsford.
I was one of the first tenants here. I thought it would be safer being closer to the shelter.
Just giving people a space to have their own, call their own, and then having harm reduction here and everyone else here to help out.
Tent encampments in BC are a seemingly impossible problem. Vancouver recently ended one here at Crab Park. It was the city's 10th location over the past 10 years, a problem that just keeps moving.
The whack-a-mole approach, closing down one encampment and then just another one popping up and closing that one down and so on and so forth, is really futile. It's not working.
Tent encampments pit public safety, public access for all, versus time and resources to provide housing in a way that's appropriate.
The unhoused population is quite diverse, and it has a diverse range of needs and barriers that make existing either emergency shelters or single room occupancy hotels or other alternatives just not practically accessible.
Leaders in cities with current tent encampments say they understand this, that drastic action won't help and only move the problem along.
I mean, we hear concerns from our residents about their safety. Quite frankly, I'm worried about the safety of the people that are here living on the street. The best way we can support these people is to get them into housing, get them sheltered, and start to provide the services that they need.
Coquitlam's tent encampment began 6 months ago. It's right outside the city's 42-bed shelter. The shelter opened a decade ago despite community backlash. Now it's beyond capacity and lacking all the services needed to break the cycle of homelessness for people staying there.
The province needs to step up and help us because we have an unacceptable situation here, and we need to work with other levels of government to try to find a solution to it.
The sentiment is the same in Abbotsford. Its tent encampment, right at City Hall, is in part a protest over historical decisions and unmet promises by the city to help the homeless people who live here, something its current mayor acknowledges.
Yes, I'm still dealing with some of that aftermath. Reputationally, that's not who we are as a city, and it never has been.
Like Coquitlam, Abbotsford says it's trying to take a human rights-based approach, but has been in the courts after an injunction sought to stop it from using city bylaws to break up the camp. In October, the court sided with Abbotsford, but said displacement could only happen when adequate shelter and harm reduction was in place. Abbotsford's mayor says that's a problem.
And the conditions are that we provide housing, that we provide mental health and addiction supports. The conditions are clearly in the provincial government's jurisdiction.
Cities make it clear they don't have the resources to properly respond to tent encampments. The province has a 3-year multi-response plan to address homelessness called Belonging in BC. It's worth $633 million over 3 years. Homelessness has increased in places like Metro Vancouver, though. The federal government's trying to make a difference by providing $250 million and calls for matching funding from provinces. But a report from the Parliamentary Budget Officer calls for a 7-fold increase in yearly spending just to reduce homelessness by 50%. Families watching their loved ones struggle to survive want less government sparring and more spending more quickly. Sharon Sinclair is thankful her daughter was able to move from Coquitlam's tent encampment and into the city's shelter, but she still has unmet needs.
Build more affordable housing, build more programs for these people. They need help. They need to know how to get to the next stage of their mental health.
Meanwhile, those in and around tent encampments want more agency. They want to be listened to and be part of solutions, not moved on from encampments absent a better option. Chad Pawson, CBC News, Vancouver.